Donald Trump meets with former foe Megyn Kelly.
In all fairness, I give her a lot of credit for doing what she did.
As protests erupt at his rallies overnight, and Bernie Sanders draws his own massive crowds in New York, looking for a big upset against Hillary Clinton. Will tonight's debate change the game?
Dangerous flyby. Russian jets coming within 30 feet of an American ship in a moment straight out of Top Gun. One of the most aggressive acts since the Cold War. Tensions high this morning as the Russians respond.
A father sentenced to years in prison for abducting his own son, keeping him hidden from his mother for more than a decade under a fake name. That boy's emotional plea this morning to free the father who kidnapped him.
A slam dunk night for basketball. Kobe leaves it all on the court, scoring 60 points in his final star-studded game as the Golden State Warriors make history, surpassing the Chicago Bulls record. Yep, it was a legendary night.
73 wins. Good morning, America.
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
And good morning, Steph Curry. I hope you slept in this morning.
He deserves
that night of basketball lived up to the hype.
It did. For once, it really did. And how about 60? 6-0. Well, we had the win for the Warriors and 60 points for that man right there. He dropped the mic. He said, Mambo out. Ending his career with 5 championships for the Lakers. 3rd highest score of all time, that man.
What a night. President Obama even tweeting about both, saying, big night of basketball, Warriors chasing 73, and a farewell for an all-timer, Kobe Bryant. NBA fans feeling like this.
We want to get to that, all that excitement right now. ABC's Kana Whitworth is there at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, where it all went down last night. Big goodbye for Kobe. Good morning, Kana.
Oh, Robin, good morning. So fans came out here in droves. Kobe's last game or NBA Finals, you almost couldn't tell the difference. It was so electric. And Kobe left everyone with the best surprise ever, a glimpse of his old self.
This is like old times now.
Kobe Bryant ending his 20-year NBA run like a champ.
You go out with this at 37, remarkable.
At age 37, snatching a new record for the oldest player to score a season-high 60 points in a single game.
Kobe going out in style.
Steering the Los Angeles Lakers, the team where he spent his entire career, to a last-minute upset over the Utah Jazz. In the fourth quarter, the entire Jazz team scored just 21 points. Kobe had 23 by himself. Checking out with 4 seconds on the clock.
There goes Kobe Bryant. There goes basketball greatness.
The crowd on its feet. Courtside, a star-studded affair. Jack Nicholson, David Beckham, Jay-Z, Kanye West, and Snoop Dogg taking the most coveted seats in the house. Before the game, another player who made history last night. Warriors star Stephen Curry, whose team broke the Chicago Bulls record of most games won in the regular season, paying tribute to the 5-time champion known as Black Mamba.
Kobe's had a huge impact on the game, and the game's in a much better place because of what he's been able to accomplish in his career.
Former teammate Shaquille O'Neal giving a nod to the 18-time All-Star.
It was fun playing with you. It was fun playing against you. Best Laker ever.
The team tweeting out these photos of Kobe enjoying the post-game locker room champagne celebration, saying simply, legendary. Thank you, Kobe. Dropping the mic on Mamba Day with a heartfelt goodbye.
Man, you can't write something better than this. And I'm more proud of the fact that not about the championships, but about the down years, because we didn't run and we did it the right way. What can I say? Mamba out.
After the game, Kobe said that he didn't want to get emotional, but he also didn't overlook the little things. Putting on his jersey for the very last time, running through the tunnel for the last time. Of course, the entire night knowing it was the last NBA game he would ever play in.
Robin.
That's right, Keenan. It was a drop-the-mic moment. We're going to have much more on Steph Curry and the Warriors win later this hour.
That is coming up. We're going to get to the race for the White House right now. And GOP frontrunner Donald Trump mending fences with Megyn Kelly as he battles with Republican leaders, and protests were up at his Pittsburgh rally overnight. ABC's Tom Yamas is there with the latest. Good morning, Tom.
George, good morning to you. We were right in the middle of those confrontations last night. There was a lot of rage outside that Trump rally, but police were able to maintain control. And also this morning, a lot of people are talking about a very odd comment Donald Trump made last night about the late Penn State football coach, Joe Paterno.
Move back! Overnight, Trump protesters and supporters clashing outside of Trump's Pittsburgh rally. Anger on both sides. We were there as tensions nearly boiled over. Inside, Trump himself in protest mode against his own party.
And the people that shouldn't have this power took all of the power away from the voters.
Trump furious that his rival Senator Ted Cruz has outfoxed him, winning more delegates than him in several states.
The Republican system is a rigged system.
The chairman of the Republican Party, who's been careful to criticize Trump, saying on this one, Trump's just wrong.
The rules have been set.
Cruz says Trump's problems have nothing to do with the rules. It's that Trump is a sore loser.
The simple reality is anytime the people vote against Donald, he screams the voters are stealing the election.
But the GOP frontrunner is not the only one upset. Some Republican leaders in Colorado and delegates in other states say they're receiving death threats.
The guy sent me a text message saying that I would never make it to Cleveland, and neither would my family.
Also overnight, Fox News' Megyn Kelly announcing she met with Donald Trump, who she's tangled with throughout the campaign.
The meeting was at my request, and Mr. Trump was gracious enough to agree to it.
In all fairness, I give her a lot of credit for doing what she did.
A possible Kelly-Trump interview now in the works.
But, Tom, you mentioned that comment about the late Joe Paterno that Trump made out there in Pittsburgh, raised a lot of eyebrows. Let's take a look.
I know a lot about Pennsylvania, and it's great. How's Joe Paterno? We going to bring that back?
Now, Joe Paterno died in 2012, so when Donald Trump said, "How's Joe Paterno?" the crowd sort of seemed stunned. No one really knew what to say. In fact, no one was even clapping. And when he said, "Bring that back," apparently he was talking about the Joe Paterno statue, which was taken down from Penn State in the wake of the Jerry Sandusky sex abuse scandal. But I can tell you, George, I was in that room. Everyone was hanging on every single word. That crowd was really into his speech. But when he said that about Joe Paterno, everyone was sort of stunned.
Yeah, kind of got lost in the shorthand. Okay, Tom Yamas, thanks very much.
All right, George, now to the Democratic candidates. Bernie Sanders drawing massive crowds at a star-studded rally overnight, hoping to pull off a big upset in the primary here in New York as he prepares to face off against Hillary Clinton in a debate tonight. ABC's Cecilia Vega has the latest. Good morning, Cecilia.
Hey, Robin. Good morning to you. After all the big rallies, all the fighting here in New York for Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, it comes down to tonight, the face-off on that debate stage. And this is the debate they could not agree on. Well, it's happening now, the final opportunity to make their case.
It was his biggest New York crowd so far, one of the biggest of his entire campaign. So many people, they climbed trees to catch a glimpse, nearly 30,000 in all, pouring into and spilling out of historic Washington Square Park, a sea of faces under that famous arch. Some of them famous themselves, from Rosario Dawson to Spike Lee.
Is Brooklyn in the house?
And when the man they all came to see finally took the stage, even he seemed taken aback.
There are a lot of people here tonight.
Sanders riling up the crowd by going after his rival.
If somebody gets paid $225,000 for a speech, it must be an unbelievably extraordinary speech.
But in a stark contrast, a tale of two very different campaign stops. At the same time, Hillary Clinton held a New York rally too at a community center in the Bronx. 1,200 supporters, not one mention of Sanders, just that other guy.
Unlike Donald Trump, we're not saying some people don't belong. We're not saying some people are not wanted.
For both sides, Tuesday's vote is a must-win. And despite Clinton's double-digit lead, this morning Sanders is feeling not just hopeful, but confident.
I think that if we have a large voter turnout on Tuesday, we're going to win this thing. Thank you all.
These were two very different events overnight. Clinton spoke for 14 minutes. Sanders went on for more than an hour. Here's the catch, though. New York is a closed primary, meaning only Democrats can vote. And you guys know that this has helped Hillary Clinton.
So far, it has to see you. Thanks very much to the debate tonight. And then Sanders heads to the Vatican.
That's right.
As well tomorrow. Okay, let's get more on this now from John Carl, who's down in Washington. John, we had this new ABC News Washington Post poll out this morning that showed the two Republican frontrunners actually having some issues with the general electorate.
That's right. This poll looks at the Republican candidates and shows that most of the country simply doesn't like them. If you look at Donald Trump, his unfavorability rating is at 67% of the general public, of registered voters. But look at Ted Cruz. He is now at 53% unfavorability. That is the highest unfavorability that he has seen throughout this campaign. He is growing more unpopular by the day. The only candidate not disliked by most of the electorate is John Kasich. And, of course, he's mathematically eliminated from clinching before the convention.
Right now, but he's staying in right now. And John, at the same time, we're hearing reports now that Corey Lewandowski, the Trump campaign manager who got in that tussle with a reporter a couple months back, is going to be cleared of charges by the prosecutor this morning, not going to pursue the charges. But there is a big shakeup now inside the Trump campaign.
Huge changes inside the campaign. Lewandowski is not going anywhere, but what Trump has done is he is bringing in political professionals. He's bringing in the establishment, George. The latest big hire is Rick Wjla. This was the campaign manager for Scott Walker. He is also the former political director for the Republican National Committee. So as Trump complains about the rules, he is now bringing in people that know those rules well and can navigate that system. The question is whether or not it's too late.
And he's got a lot of favorable states coming up. Okay, John Carl, thanks very much.
George, now to that big scare at sea, a dangerous close encounter with Russian jets raising echoes of the Cold War. This dramatic video shows them repeatedly flying near a U.S. warship in the Baltic Sea. ABC's chief global affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz has the latest, joins us from our Washington bureau. Good morning, Martha.
Good morning, Robin. This morning, the Russians are saying they observed all safety precautions when flying by that U.S. warship, but there was nothing safe about this. The Russians have not come this close to U.S. ships in decades.
It's not just a dangerously close flyby, one within 30 feet of the U.S. destroyer. It is one of the most aggressive Russian acts against the U.S. military since the end of the Cold War.
Below the bridge.
Russian jets flying in a way that simulated an attack, and not just once, but over and over. In the last 2 days, the jets making more than 30 passes over the American ship in international waters, and roaring at just 100 feet off the Baltic Sea, causing a wake in the water as if a giant speedboat had raced by.
It's wholly unsafe. There's no reason to be that low. There's no room for error, and there's lots of room for disaster.
And it wasn't just the attack jets. The Russians had a helicopter flying low-altitude circles around the U.S. warship more than half a dozen times. The Americans on the destroyer repeatedly radioed the Russian pilots of the helicopter and the jets in both English and Russian, but the transmissions were ignored.
Could they be entering a new chapter of looking to intimidate NATO in the northern Baltics? Or is this something where they're looking to distract NATO as they may begin a spring offensive in the Ukraine?
This morning, the U.S. continues to work diplomatic channels about the incident, but over the last few years, the Russians have only gotten more aggressive with these flybys, and nothing the U.S. has done so far, George, has stopped that.
Boy, so aggressive. Okay, Martha, thanks very much. We're going to move on now and get the latest on that affluenza teen who fled the country after violating probation for a deadly drunk driving accident. 19-year-old Ethan Couch has now appeared in court for the first time as an adult, and he's been sentenced to 2 years in jail. ABC's Matt Gutman has the details.
180 days in the county jail.
That ruling against the so-called affluenza teen, Ethan Couch, stunning the courtroom.
180 days in this case.
And then the third.
Consecutive to the other two cases.
And the fourth.
after you spend 180 days on your other 3 cases.
In total, the North Texas judge ordering the teen to serve 720 days in county lockup, nearly 2 full years for the drunk driving deaths of 4 people in 2013.
You're not getting out of jail today.
If Ethan Couch seemed to sleepwalk through his juvenile court trial, controversially sentenced only to probation, his first court appearance as an adult was a rude awakening.
This favoritism that he's still a kid or juvenile is gone. It expired at 12 o'clock Monday. He's now an adult. He needs to be treated like one.
Couch has been in jail since January when he was extradited to Texas after fleeing to Mexico. On the run with his mother after Ethan appears to have violated parole by being at this boozy party. On Wednesday, he was ushered into court by the same sheriff who had vowed to track him down.
I think that it's hit him that this is a life that is what he feared, if not expected.
Sporting a shaggy beard, his blonde roots starting to grow back now after he dyed his hair in Mexico as an apparent disguise. The judge seemingly one-upping the prosecution's request for a 16-month detention, adding 8 additional months for violating probation, plus forbidding Couch from drinking or even driving for another 7 years.
You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, as part of his original sentencing, he was ordered to in-state rehab, but court documents show his millionaire parents told the state they were unable to pay for it. So taxpayers footed the bill, shelling out nearly $190,000. Couch's parents chipping in just about 5%. George.
Okay, Matthew, thanks very much. Thank Matt Gutman. Let's go on to Amy now with today's other top stories. We've got this missing Catholic priest in Florida.
That's right. A man described as a person of interest was taken into custody overnight in the search for that Florida priest. Reverend Rene Robert was last seen on Sunday. Police believe foul play is involved in his disappearance, but they're not elaborating. Overnight, police tracked down 28-year-old Stephen Murray in South Carolina, where they say he abandoned Robert's car. Murray has a long criminal history, and Reverend Robert had reportedly been trying to help him. Also breaking overnight, police in Houston say a deputy constable has been shot 6 times in what they say was an unprovoked attack on the street. The officer's condition is uncertain. A man matching the suspect's description, though, is being questioned. Overseas now, and some encouraging news in the search for more than 200 schoolgirls kidnapped by Boko Haram in Nigeria. A new video released by the terror group appears to show some of those girls still alive. It is the first time they have been seen since May of 2014. Well, the families of the 150 people killed when a German airliner crashed into the Alps last year are now suing the Arizona flight school where the pilot was trained. They claim the school did not properly screen Andreas Lubitz, who suffered severe depression. Everyone on board died when he deliberately flew into that mountain. New concern about the exploding airbags blamed for 10 deaths in the U.S. Regulators say another 85 million cars and trucks with Takata airbags may now need to be recalled unless the company can prove they are safe. And finally, the rules of etiquette at your local movie theater may be changing. The AMC theater chain says it may begin to allow texting during movies with special texting sections in the theaters. Wait till you hear why. The CEO says expecting millennials to go without their phones for 2 hours is just not realistic. And I'm going to rely on a quote from my mom here, who always said, the inevitability of something does not make it right.
I like that.
That's good.
That's it. Well said.
Thank you.
All right, Ginger, how about that storm out west?
I will get to that western storm. The big one you can see right over the Pacific Ocean is going to cause a lot of trouble from California up through Colorado, even the Uinta Range in Utah. But first, we've got to get those rainy cities, brought to you by Macy's.
It's Macy's One Day Sale Saturday with a Preview Day Friday with incredible doorbusters 9 a.m. till 2 p.m. Like half-carat total weight True Miracle diamond earrings, just $199. Take 60% off suit separates from Ryan Seacrest, Bar 3, and more. Bras from Bally, Maidenform, and more 2 for $19.99 and panties 5 for $19.99. Tag Springfield 5-piece luggage sets $59.99. And save 30% plus an extra 15% on blenders and mixers. Macy's One Day Sale Saturday with a Preview Day Friday. Doors open at 9 a.m.
Good morning, Washington. Frost northwest of town again this morning, especially in the sheltered valleys. That's going to be exiting by about 9 o'clock this morning, giving way to warmer temperatures in the lower 60s and lots of sunshine through the day today. It'll get frosty once again overnight tonight. Inside the Beltway, though, no problems. 43 degrees. We'll see 30s in the suburbs. Tomorrow afternoon, about the same. We'll still see lower 60s across the region. Middle 60s by your